You said you noticed a lot of negative views or language towards the women on the show that you don't feel is necessary. Was there anything in specific?
That was just something I brought up, like, I think a little earlier,
Did
too.
you?
It was just, well, I slightly, like, touched on it. I just feel like the direction that we have gone in now seems more, like, open, friendly, talkative, like, we can discuss. And I feel like sometimes in the podcast it can get a little more just kind of, we're not talking anymore, we're just kind of yelling at each other and nobody's vibing and just, we're trying to debate, but it's not really happening. And I just see, like, I guess, I don't know, in previous videos that I've just seen.
Give me one example.
Ooh. I don't know. I really don't watch your videos, like, enough to provide, I think, a really good example for you. I've just seen a lot of the clips just to kind of prepare for the show. But I've just seen that there seems to be some negativity towards women in general. Like,
You'd have to provide an example.
I know. I don't. But if you go back and watch, or other people, but that's really all
I can give just a brief bit of pushback. So when you're having an argument with somebody, they're not going to agree with you. And sometimes you may have a position which sounds fucking stupid. This just me being totally honest. Sometimes you may have a position which sounds completely fucking stupid and idiotic. And if that is so, and the other person points this out and you're forced to agree, what happens is that's very uncomfortable for people. What this is called is cognitive dissonance. It's a thing which happens with many, many people when they get into arguments. They engage in cognitive dissonance. Once they do that, they almost shut down. They feel like they're being assaulted, insulted, destroyed, whatever you want to kind of label it, because they have to face their kind of own incoherence. And so I think what happens often is people will make really bad arguments. And when they have to face the outcome of what that actually entails, they get really upset. And instead of saying, wait, maybe I'm just wrong, or I haven't thought this through, or there's something, there's some entailment here which I haven't thought through, they instead blame the person who pointed it out.
I think that I definitely see that for sure. I'm not trying to be like, oh, you guys are just women haters and bring us on all here. I just mean that I feel like sometimes when you're asking the questions, like, individually, like, not to bring up body count again, but like the body count questions, like, I feel like during those, it seems to be like, I don't know, like, there's just the conversations between, like, they don't seem to be friendly anymore. It doesn't seem to be like for argument's sake or anything like that. I just mean, like,
I understand that, actually. What I think happens, because I've been on the show like many, many, many times.
I have seen
and so
that.
I've seen this kind of go around time and time and time again. So I have some good insight here. What happens is the frustration, think about it from the other end. So juxtapose yourself, put yourself in my shoes, or in Brian's shoes, or any other men who are sitting there. If they feel like they're being lied to, they feel like, wait a second, there's no possible way you're telling me the truth right now. How can a woman, so like, for instance, I've had a 600-pound chick, maybe she wasn't that heavy, but something close to it, say to me, I'm a 10 out of 10, I'm on par with Scarlett Johansson. There's no possible way she actually believed that, and when pushed, it was very obvious that she didn't, but doubled down on the lie. So if you have people that you're trying to have a good faith discussion with who are literally lying to you, and you know they're lying to you, you point the lie out, and they still double down on it, how can you even engage in good faith at that point?
Well, I would say that, I guess specifically to that, like, maybe she's not arguing, like, at that point, doubling, like you're saying, she's doubling down on the fact that she's as hot as Scarlett Johansson. Maybe she's not so much doubling down on that, but she is, like, just feeling insecure, and so that's, like, what's going on. Like, she's not trying to lie.
Well, I
to you.
agree.
Like, what I mean, like, she's not trying to lie
totally
to you and tell
with
you she looks like Scarlett Johansson. Like, she knows that.
Right. I totally agree with you that at that point, she feels like she's confronting her own cognitive dissonance, and it's painful, and she doesn't want to deal with it. I get all that, but if honesty leaves the discussion, so earlier I asked this very basic question on body count, or not on body count, but I'm sorry, on looks, 1 to 10 on looks. And I said, if you had 1,000 people who rated you, what do you think their collective answer would be? Now you tell me, just me and you, do you think that people were actually honest with me?
I think that I mean, yeah, people feel good about themselves, and I don't think that they were giving easy answers of just purely like their looks. Like they want to feel good about themselves. They're factoring in their personality, like, and they are all hot, so they should all feel like they are all are 10s.
Are they all hot?
I think they're all hot, and they are all 10s. And if
Is
they,
that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's hot and beautiful in their own ways.
So let me
and the
then let
standards
me
are
ask you
different for
this:
everybody.
if you're in the truth-telling mood, can you tell me who the hottest woman in the studio is according to you?
I don't like to do that because I don't like to compare.
Right.
No, like I don't like to compare women's like looks to other women's. Like I just feel like that's mean and it
Okay,
kind of tears
that's fair.
other women
So
down.
without saying out loud who you think the hottest woman in the room is, can you tell me at least this, that in your head, you do think that there are some women in the room who are prettier than others?
But that also would be coming down to like my personal perspective, and it's not like, and like that would be, like I'm not sitting here trying to judge women and be like, oh, is she cuter than her?
Not saying
Like-
you
like,
are.
I know, but I mean that's not what's going in my head. Like when I'm looking at all these women and hearing them talk about like, are they a 10? Are they an 8? Like I'm not being like, oh, well, should she have really said that? I mean, look at her compared to her. Like that never runs through my mind. Like so, I don't put women against
Yeah,
each other.
okay.
Wait, sorry,
I'll
Andrew,
accept all
Andrew.
that.
I do
I just
have
want to
to-
wrap up
Andrew.
very quickly with this last question.
Okay, last question.
Can you tell me, though, in your brain at least, you think there are some women in the room who are prettier than other women in the room?
I mean, like, yes, but that doesn't mean that because one woman is prettier in one aspect that the other can't have just as pretty qualities in like other like
Well, now you understand why we don't feel like people are being honest with us.
well, it's because people are being honest, but they're also not
There's
telling
different
their whole
degrees.
to different degrees. Like
Do you know what a
it
lie of
depends on
omission
the
is?
settings and I'm sorry, say that again.
A lie of omission?
Yeah, but that's not really what.
Isn't it
do it.
really what
I don't
is
think
going
so.
on? It's a
Like-
lie of omission, right?
No, because like
Like
we're just,
we know that you know
talking
that there's prettier girls in that room, or at least that you think some girls in the room are prettier than other girls. But the reason you refuse to actually say what's objectively true is because you don't want to risk insult.
No, it's
that's
because
fair.
it's
That's fair, but you're still
unnecessary for
omitting the
me to
information on
do
purpose,
that
right?
To people, like it's not up for me to tell her like how she should be defined by like me. Like I'm not. I would never like. Sorry, sidetracked.
Can I make an anecdote
Yes.
on that? I think it might come from, like, you're saying in the way of you don't want to necessarily answer the question because it's not of value. Like, he's trying to get you to answer this question, but it's like you are trying to get to a different point. It's not really of value to answer that question. Like,
It's like
Well,
trying to
Like,
understand
I
why,
get- I get-
why
I
is
get
that
what
you're
question
saying too.
relevant?
I understand what you're saying. You're saying, look, there's no value add from our end on answering this question. It's just either going to make us look bad or make somebody else look bad, this type of thing. I get that. But
Wait.
just so you understand, if you're going to have open, honest dialogue, you're going to have to risk insulting. You're going to have to risk being insulting.
I don't. Yeah,
Hold on,
I
If it's
understand
really
that.